fascinated by the idea of going to space. I mean, it's very rare that I actually find somebody that, if they had the opportunity to go to space, wouldn't want to go to space. So, you know, I think it's the exception to the rule. Maybe your wife won't. Maybe my wife won't. But I mean, you know, but I think who would like to go to space one day?
Yeah. By the way, this is the, keep your hands up. This is the pre-close. We have 4 spots available.
Henri.
Has the price gone down?
The price has gone up, actually.
No, I've got
slightly up.
I'll pay $150.
You know, a number of years ago, President Gorbachev, I mean, many years ago, he invited me to fly with the Russian spacecraft, and I wouldn't have the chance to be the first person on a Russian spacecraft in space, and I declined because I thought, you know, spending the kind of money that they wouldn't look right, and so decided to see if we could try to build our own space line.
Like a good entrepreneur.
I like a good entrepreneur, and it's been far tougher than than we thought. We've learned that it is rocket science, and rocket science is tough. And as everybody knows, we had a horrendous setback about ago.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So, how many of you guys heard about the Virgin Galactic crash? So I was literally, Missy texted me, it was Halloween, and I was sitting with this woman named Barbara Marx Hubbard, who's kind of a conscious evolutionist, amazing, like 80-some-year-old woman. And when I heard about it, like, I kept playing my phone, kept texting. I usually don't answer my phone or much like that, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, oh, wow. And I literally just felt sick to my stomach. Not because, oh, boo-hoo, it takes way longer to go to space, but for the idea that us, as, you know, this commercially viable product that space that we're going to go out, and what does that lead to, and what's next, and what happens. And I literally cried. And then you have to deal with that in a big way. How do you deal with a crisis like that?
Well, I've been through it once before. We have a train company, and I was in a cinema in Zermatt with my children, and my phone kept ringing in my pocket, and it doesn't at that time of night ring as often, and so I thought something sent alarm bells ringing, and a train had gone off the tracks, and the track had been broken, and the first rule if something like that happens is get to the scene, be with your staff, and if it turns out to be your fault, make sure that you take it on the chin and apologise profusely. And as it turned out, on that occasion, Network Rail had been at fault, people were on the track, but by being there, when I went to the mortuary, there was an elderly lady had died. Met her family in the mortuary. Not a pleasant thing to do. We had big hugs, some tears together, then went and saw the press. I'm the sort of person who cries in happy films, sad films. My kids bring a box of Kleenex to the cinema, and I was terrified that I was going to end up crying, but I fortunately held myself together. So I think I learned from that. So when I was talking to my son on the phone when I got the news, he was training in a centrifuge in Philadelphia for his space flight, and I just got a message that there'd been a disaster, and again I just went, got on the plane as quickly as possible, went there, and got all 150 engineers together, spoke with them. We had the biggest hug in the history of hugs, and told them that as long as what had happened was not our fault, and as long as it wasn't insurmountable, I promised them that we would keep the program on the road, all their jobs would be secure, and we would move forward. And unfortunately, as it turned out, there wasn't a fundamental flaw, and the team have just got on. We've worked 24 hours a day ever since. We're a few months off now from being back on track.
Yeah, something like that really rallies people together, and it's, you showed up as a real person, as a human. I had a couple friends that asked me, "Are you going to sell your ticket?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not. I'm committed, and even more so now." It's like, to me, it wouldn't do.
Well, I think it was people like yourself that said that kept us going. I mean, there were out of 800 people who bought tickets, 20 decided not to continue. On the very day of the crash, we had people like the Prime Minister's wife of Iceland buy a ticket. We had just to show support. But, and we had the Prime Minister's wife of Saudi Arabia buy a ticket. I mean, a whole mixture of people just bought tickets in sympathy and support, and on that basis we just thought, damn this, we're carrying on.
That's good. All right, so all of you that raise your hands, we have a video for you. We play the Galactic video.